Good morning class, this is Miss Tabassum, and as you know that yesterday we have started with the topic verb. So let's recapitulate. Verbs can be transitive or intransitive. Transitive verbs need an object to complete their meaning. Intransitive verbs do not need an object to complete their meaning. Transitive verbs can have two objects, direct and indirect. The object of the verb is the person or thing to or for whom something is done. But before we start the lesson, please listen to the sentences that I speak to you. I look forward to explain the verb pattern to you. I have decided to give only one exercise for homework. Many people risk losing their job during the COVID-19. These sentences have some verb pattern, and thus today our topic of discussion is verb pattern. Verbs can have the following pattern. As you can see, verb plus ing, verb plus infinitive with or without to, verb plus noun or pronoun plus infinitive without to, verb plus preposition plus ing. Now, let's come to the very first structure of the verb. When a verb follows another verb, the structure we use is verb plus ing. A verb ending in ing is either a present participle or a gerund. These two forms look very identical. The difference is in their functions in a sentence. Gerunds like verb plus ing can be called gerund or participle, as I have told you. So I will say what is the gerund and what is the participle now. Gerunds are verbs which function as a noun in a sentence, whereas a present participle is most commonly used as part of the continuous form of a verb. After verbs of perception, after verbs of movement, or as an adjective. Present participles are formed by adding ing to the base form of the verb, and they denote incomplete actions or state of being. See the two examples. First two examples. I prefer waking up early in the morning, and I cook listening to the radio. So prefer is a verb, waking is here present participle. The first, prefer waking, and cook listening, these two are examples of present participles after the verbs of movement or action, and it indicates parallel activity. Next example you see, I watched a painting, the portrait of a young lady, and we saw him swimming across the river. Watched her painting and saw him swimming. These two are example of present participles which is used after the verb of perception. Perception means which you feel, and it is in the pattern. You can see the pattern. Verb, that is saw is the verb, then the object him, and then swimming. It is the present participle which indicates the action being perceived. Here we have some example of the gerunds. The gerunds, as I have said you, that it has the function of a noun, although it looks like a verb. As you can see the examples I have written, I love swimming in the river, I avoid eating too much sweets, I adore spending time with the family. Here, this gerund is acting after certain specific verbs. As you can see in the left hand corner, I have written some verbs, and these verbs always come in their base forms. Now is the verb plus infinitive with or without to. Very, very important is infinitive. What an infinitive is. Infinitive is a non-finite verb in its base form, and it is preceded or followed by the word to. And it has the structure verb first form to plus the first form of the verb. See here, I have written some examples. I prefer to exercise in the evening. We plan to take a holiday. My brother loves to listen to music all day long. He expects to arrive on time. She seems to be a little nervous. So prefer to exercise, plan to take, loves to listen, expects to arrive, seems to be. Prefer, verb, and to exercises to plus infinitive. You know, many verbs in English are followed by the infinitive with to. Some of these verb pattern are verb plus to infinitive, as you have already seen. See, on the left hand side, I have given some verbs. You can see, and these are some common verb patterns which are verbs of thinking and feeling, that is choose, decide, expect, forget, would like, hate, hope, intend, learn, would love, luck, like, love, mean, plan, would hate, prefer, remember, want. Then we have the verbs of saying, that is agree, promise, refuse, threaten. And the next we have some other verbs like arrange, attempt, fail, help, manage, tend, try, make. And you see downwards some verbs are there which are in asterisks, and these are the verbs which can be used without to, as we are reading verb plus infinitive with and without to. So we must remember these verbs which comes without to. See, I have written two more sentences down with blue. I can't dare to disturb him. Here I have written dare with the to in bracket. It means that it can come with to or without to. Why, I will explain. And who would dare to accuse him? So these two sentences, as we know that dare is always a negative sentence and it comes always in negative sentences and questions. Why I have written with to? Whenever the verb dare, it comes with an auxiliary or a modal verb, it can be followed by the infinitive with or without to. Both are correct. But if there is no auxiliary or modal, dare is followed by the infinitive without to. As you can see in the last three sentences, you dare raise your voice before me, wrote the giant, I didn't dare go out after the dark, nobody dared disturb him. Now verb plus noun or pronoun plus infinitive without to. See, there are some verbs, that is let and make, which always occurs without to infinitive. The verbs make and let, they are followed by the infinitive without to. Like see, make him go in your place for the match. The doctor made me wait for almost an hour. Let him speak first. So see, because make and let are there, I didn't use to, and it is a rule. Without to we have to write. But if the passive form is there, passive form of make is there in the fourth sentence. You can see, so I have written was made to pay. If the passive form is there, then it will always be followed with the infinitive with to. He was made to pay. So I have written there to. I was allowed to go in. Look at the fifth sentence. Let has no passive form. I have already said you that make and let are the two verbs which are followed by the infinitive without to. But as I have said some exceptional also. Here we were allowed to go outside at the weekend, or I was allowed to go in, as I have used allowed because there is no let, passive form of let. Next you can see verb plus preposition plus ing. When the preposition in, at, with, for, about are used before a verb or an adjective, the verb must use ing form. That is the gerund form. And always remember that it is very impossible to use an infinitive, that is the first form of the verb, to use after a preposition. See, in the purple box I have written some words, that is disagree with, look forward to, disapprove of, aim at, believe in, give up, worry about, dream of, dream about, resort to, object to, decide again, succeed in, concentrate on, complain about, get on with, rely on, boast about, admit to, agree with, depend on, confess to, insist on, specialize in, vote for, pay for, benefit from, get used to, apologize for, care for, cope with, talk about, talk of, put off. So remember, these are the verbs which are always followed by a preposition and then a gerund. See, I have written here some examples as well. I always focus on understanding the most important part of problem. We are excited about making our own film. Adil is interested in writing poems. Now see the last three sentences. Do you prefer walking to doing exercise? I am looking forward to meeting her tonight. The suspect never confessed to killing his own brother. Though we have here a to preposition, as you know, whenever to preposition is there, we always use verb first form. But if we have a to as a preposition, we can change the verb after the preposition to its gerund form. If the verb is there, then the to preposition is there, then we have to change into the ing form. And thus you can see the three examples. And the last but not the least, we have the modal auxiliaries plus verb. So before that, we should know what a modal auxiliary is. Modal auxiliary is a verb that is used with another verb to express a mood or tense. And they are always used with the main verb and can never be used as a full verb in a sentence. Modals are used to express permission, ability, suggestion, possibility or necessity. Remember beta that modal auxiliaries never or do not change their form according to the tense of the main verb or the number and person of the subject. As you can see, I have written some modals on the left hand side in the box. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, must. These are the examples of modal verb. As you can see the example as well. How can she be so absent-minded? We must not fight. May I take this seat? We should respect. Can is here. In the first sentence, can is the modal auxiliary. Be is the verb. In the second sentence, must not is the modal auxiliary. Fight is the verb. In the third sentence, may is the modal auxiliary. Take is the verb. And in the fourth sentence, should is the modal auxiliary and respect is the verb. See here, I have written something with black. It means these are exceptional. Ought, need and dare, they are known as semi or quasi-modal auxiliaries. And always remember that ought and need are always followed by to. I hope you are clear with the lesson. We will start and we'll discuss about the further topic, that is reflexive verb, tomorrow. Thank you. Have a good day ahead.